Hi, it's Andy again, and another video. This week, I'm going to be reflecting on a prayer walk that we did last over this weekend. We did one part of it on Saturday morning, the other part on Sunday evening. We had a few people join us as we prayed, and didn't really run into a lot of people outside as we did it, but we just walked through the town, past each house and many businesses, a school, churches, etc., and just took a moment to pray for each one of them. And as it did went through that process over these last couple of days, several several thoughts kind of came to me, and I'm going to just share those as points of reflection this week. And I'm going to start. I know I'm going to get in a little bit of trouble with this one, and so please hear today and tomorrow, because I think if you know, in our soundbite world, if you just take a part of this, you're going to say, "Wow, is that what he's saying?" And no, you need to hear today and tomorrow to get the full picture of it. Today, I want to talk about authentic people. Tomorrow, I'm going to talk about authentic love. Okay, so that kind of gives you the idea of tying those two together. And you know. In our world today, we project a lot of images, and we project what we want people to see. And I'm not saying this is new to us in today's world. I just think it's more prominent in today's world, in an age of social media. With different platforms like Facebook and Instagram, even YouTube and stuff like that. Um, but are we authentic? And so again, hear me, okay? Because I realize that what I'm about to say could get me in a lot of trouble if you just take this out of context. But as we were walking around, one of the things that I noticed were um, the yards, the houses, the different things that are outside people's homes. And what does that mean? Now for some, let's just take some of the lawn figurines and toys, kids' toys, and whatever, swing sets, all kinds of stuff. Um, some of those are put in place because they really represent the people. They want to be. They found a figure that represents them. I know I've been in many homes, and I've seen people that love chickens or whatever, and so there's chicken stuff everywhere in the house. But on the outside, sometimes because we don't have a place for it inside, sometimes we leave stuff in the yard, we try to cram stuff in the garage, whatever it might be. Sometimes we put things outside. Oh, that looks nice, I'd like to put that outside. But even beyond those types of things, we have flowers, we have plants, we have um, different type of decorations on the outside. And again, I'm not saying people don't like flowers. I'm not saying people don't like plants. So hear this in its totality. But part of the reason we do that is to make things look nice, is to give a nicer appeal, and it's really no different than us. Sometimes we project an image on the outside by what we say. We say things in public or with certain people that we might not say elsewhere. And I'm saying we try to project a good image. We wear different clothing in certain settings than we would in other settings to project a certain image, and all of this is a lack of authenticity, or to some degree. And again, this is where I could get in trouble. Um, and I'm not saying that those things are not important. I'm not saying that those things that people don't have that as a part of who they are. I'm saying that many times what we project to many people, or to most people, is different than who we really are on the inside. We might have an immaculate house on the inside and a shoddy house on the outside, and people never see the inside. It looks bad on the outside, so they don't even want to know what the inside's like. Sometimes that's true of us as well. We project a negative image. We carry ourselves in a downcast fashion, whatever it is. But on the inside, we're doing fine, and we just never give people a chance to see that. The flip side is also true. Sometimes we project ourselves as shiny and bright, and everything is good, and on the inside, we are in absolute turmoil. And especially at a time like this, where there's so much uncertainty about even the last 2 months. We're uncertain about what's happened the last 2 months, let alone what's going to happen in the next 2 months. The economy is hopefully going to begin to recover. There's reports that, the economy will get back fully to speed by the end of 2021. I mean, we're 18 months out from that, but as long as there's not a recurrence, a second wave of this, I mean, that's some good news. but we simply don't know. And so we project this image, we project this idea that everything is good on the outside when it's not on the inside. For me, one of the things that I struggle with as a person, not as a pastor, not as a, but just as a person, there are certain things that uh, that men can do, and I joke about this a lot. If you're a part of my congregation, you hear me say this all the time. I can't build anything. Uh, if I can help, but I just don't have that the ability to construct something, the ability to remember how to construct something. If you show me today how to do something, show me again tomorrow, and I'll forget it the next day as well. It's just, I don't know. That's the way God has made me. I can do things with my hands to some degree, but there's other things I don't. And so, there's this idea of the imposter syndrome. Many of you have probably heard of that. Most all of us have felt that at some point, that we project this image of what we can do, of who we are, and yet the reality is we can't. Well, that is a reality in many different ways. We want people to see the best in us, not the worst of us. And I think to a degree that's okay, but sometimes we begin to fool ourselves. It's okay to want other people to see the best in you if you are aspiring to be the best as well. But sometimes it's just good to say, I can't. Sometimes it's just good to say, I don't have that capacity. I don't understand. I can't do that. Whatever admittance that we need to make, we need to do that. So instead of growing up flowers outside of our home to make it look like something is nice, or to put nice decorations on the outside of our home to make the outside look nice when there's inner turmoil, or to let the outside go, completely crazy and yet take care of things on the inside, there has to be a balance here. And so in the midst of this challenge, in the midst of this disruption that we've gone through, one of the things that I would encourage you to do is, if you're having these moments of despair, if you're having these challenging moments about your identity, about your worth, about your purpose, don't put on a facade. Don't dress up with makeup, and don't put on fancy clothes and just say, I can press through this and nobody's going to know. I think the biggest challenge of COVID-19 is to come. Now, I don't want to dismiss any of the health issues that people have had, but I think we're going to have some serious long-term mental health anguish from people who have tried to keep it together in the short run. I think some of our heroes right now, who are on the front lines and who indeed are heroes, when they can finally let down, when the pressure is not on them day after day after day, when they're not putting shields over their face and putting on, almost armor to protect themselves from the patients that they're trying to serve, the stress, the mental anguish is going to hit them as well. And so, this is a time where, like most any other time, where we do try to project a different image. But maybe what we need to do now is we need to be more authentic as people. But maybe this virus, maybe this period of time will allow us to just let our guard down a little bit, to say, you know what, I need help. And ultimately, as someone who is born again, as someone who believes in Jesus, as someone who allows Jesus to hopefully control me as best I can. I'm not saying that I don't project myself differently. I'm not saying that I am fully authentic. I'm not saying that at all. But I get my most help when I am authentic. I get my most help when I say I can't do it on my own, whether that's spiritual and I need Jesus, whether that's practical and I need someone else to help. And I'm struggling with some of those very same things today, not about COVID-19, but just about, some of those things that I joke about so often. I should be able to do this. I should be able to do this, because there's so many different people that I know that it's just their skill. And yet, as I remember, God has gifted me with different things as well. And so I might not have the skill to build something. I might not have the skill to repair something, but maybe what I'm doing here is helpful to you. Maybe it's repairing you. Maybe it's building you. Maybe it's helping you to overcome as well. So let's try to be authentic people. We're not going to be perfect at it, but let's try to make a move in that direction, because here's where tomorrow here's what tomorrow's video will show us, that whether we're authentic or not, there is an authentic love that comes from God. But we best experience that when we allow ourselves to be authentic before Him as well. So until tomorrow, I bid you farewell.